Okay, we're live.
Okay.
So who wants to lead?
I can. Give me just a second because I've got a computer challenge tonight. Okay, so we start with a brief summary of the situation, and do you want me to just go ahead and read mine, or
Yeah, we can start with that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so a father, and I did really bad with names that night, so I didn't put them in. A father loses a son who is 7 to a mortar blast while the son is playing in the doorway of the family home with his sisters. 4 years later, this same father has another 7-year-old son injured and in a bombing while the son is playing in the same doorway with his sisters. The loss of the first son is difficult for the father, and his health is poor. The father relies on aid from international societies and from family to survive. A picture of the son who was lost is on the wall, and next to it, a digitally enhanced photo of the son graduating from college, something that will never happen. The family has had another son, and this son is named the same as the son who died, so that the memory of the first son will always be in the home.
Perfect. Awesome. So let's see, who's taking notes?
I am.
You are?
Okay.
Nancy?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I have all 5 case studies up right now. I was going to kind of copy and paste things that we decide we want to use.
Awesome.
Okay, that sounds really good.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay, so, because that's pretty much what I have too.
Okay.
For the brief summary.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little more brief.
It's part of my occupation, brief and as detail oriented as possible. So the summaries are easy.
Great.
Rest of it that gets challenging. Okay, so next we have list any principles or concepts from the course that can be applied in offering help or direction for this family. Mine was the crucible. Definitely.
Hang on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My computer. Is it my computer? Because everything seems slow.
It's a bit delayed.
Yeah, it's delayed. Okay, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Family typology, because even though there was a mother in this story, because they had another child, the mother's not mentioned. It's based around the father and his feelings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that I put. I'm sure there's lots more.
Yeah. I put family crucible.
I did too.
Wait, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who's talking first? My computer is. My internet's really slow. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I put family crucible. The loss of the son was tragic. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's the end. And helping them understand that would probably help ease their pain.
Mm-hmm.
And just encourage them to continue to love the son even though he's not with them right now. We'll also bring them closer together and we'll help them appreciate each other more, knowing that they never know when one's going to leave. Right?
Yep.
And then
So
family council, I think. Go ahead.
No, I was just You had mentioned, Cindy, about there not really being any women that are discussed. I mean, the mothers are not discussed. And I think part of that is because it's such a patriarchal society. But also, I was thinking really taking what we have learned and how do we learn to adapt to a society and to a war zone. And so I just did like a search about literacy for women in Gaza. And so there is an 86.4% discrepancy gap between men and women in literacy. So a lot of times, like if we were dealing with an American family, normally we'd say, okay, well, I'm going to use this worksheet of the ABC X model, where that might not be something that we could utilize there, but it could definitely be relayed verbally to them. So being able to have like group or family counselor that came in, whether that's like within the international community, or it sounded like they got psychiatric assistance for their daughter. So those services might be there, just maybe a little bit more underground, that they could utilize things that would be more verbal communication instead of necessarily read or written forms of aid to them.
This is very true because, well, in that whole region, women are generally not educated. So it would be something that we would definitely have to take into consideration culturally.
It said that most women that are 35 and up, that's where the discrepancy starts, is really that they're educating their daughters, but they have not educated themselves as women.
Yes. Has anybody taken the global course in
Pakistan?
Yeah.
Yes. No, I haven't.
That it's really eye-opening. Really, really changes. Sorry, that was my son. Changes your perspective of what's going on over there. The wow factor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've definitely had experience with that.
I also think their ability to counsel together, to be able to have that open communication, because there's so much going on. And I kind of wonder if the brother is taking a lot of support in. I mean, said that they were financially supporting, but he has a brother who has both of his kidneys. It sounds like they're either diseased or failing, that he can't work, and that he's dealing with assistance. So I wonder how much is really sitting on his shoulders, as well as the wife that we don't hear about with that being able to counsel, because there's multiple facets in this family of crisis.
There are. So we have the family crucible, the family typology,
family council.
Yeah, family council, and then Renee, or Nancy rather, you have the others.
Yeah, so it looks like the top two so far, Family Crucible and Family Council, if you combine all of our answers.
Okay.
Another one that seems to be up there as far as chosen would be, well, then they're kind of different. So whatever we want to choose for the third one, because we have continuous threat family resilience is what I put, because they're in the ongoing active war area.
I like that one.
They're exposed to that continuous threat, they really need to work on or focus on their family resilience, like we read in the Gaza Strip one for this last week. Another one, though, that's mentioned is the ABCX model, which is always good, because that's a good way to break down the situation and really consider it that way. And we could also include, I liked what Dusty was saying about including the way that it's communicated, at least, whatever we do include, with because of their reading literacy situation. So I don't know what you want to include. So far, I've got Family Crucible and the Family Council on our
I
combined
definitely
one.
like the family resiliency that, it looks like at least two people have mentioned the family resiliency. And I also like the ABCX model that is mentioned as well, being able to utilize those. That would give us 4.
Yep, we'll include both then, if that works for everyone.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. List relevant risks, dangers the family and its members face. I listed depression, guilt, disassociation, blaming, another bombing, but I don't think that's what.
So death is a big bummer.
Yeah, definitely.
Any one of the families could end up being next. If they bomb out the hospitals, they wouldn't have medical care.
So there's also the physical, but you're also dealing with like the health wise. If they were injured and there wasn't a medical facility, then, if they bomb the hospital, then how do you get care in?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I put on mine. Is if they took out the hospitals, then they'd have no medical care.
Then
I
the
also
daughter is a
put the
great.
aid could run out. Their aid that they get from their resources could
international
run out.
aid.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that
that's
you
what I was
include
thinking.
that. Yeah, that was a good thing to include because
Definitely.
it's
That
not
was
going to last forever.
yeah.
So the daughter gives us an example that there is emotional and psychological distress, because it sounds like she almost has a psychiatric break where they have to tend to that medically. So just, I would think the stress of, just imagine having to sleep in the stairwell and hoping that that would be enough to keep you safe as the air raids are going on. I don't know that there would be much sleep.
Right.
Definitely the emotional stress to it would be it would definitely cause health concerns, just the reactions from the stress.
I also thought like PTSD would definitely be something that they could all suffer from on different levels.
Definitely.
Yeah, I like that you included that because it's definitely something that plagues people who have been involved in war in some kind, in some way. So I've got that included.
Okay. List relevant opportunities presented to this family as a result of the crisis. The opportunity to cherish life and interact with each other more, to build stronger extended family relationships, to practice forgiveness. I think what I left out would be the aid, the international aid that they're getting, the support from extended family.
Yeah. I also put that the health care that they received for the second son who got injured.
Oh, yes.
They were able
definitely.
to get the care they needed.
And they saw that the birth of, when they lost the first son, that each of especially the sons, each of those births were a blessing, because it talked about that sons are held at a higher respect and honor than girls are. And so to be able to have 2 more sons after they've lost a son. So really that they're looking for the blessings that are coming in the way of their children. And I love the fact when he talks about, I could have all the money in the world and new babies. And so there's that concept that it still doesn't fill the hole, but they are blessings that are being given to them.
That is very.
Yeah, I like that part as well.
I think just being able to share their stories with like this reporter, because that's that international awareness that, hey, we need help here, which has the ability to bring in more aids, the United Nations being involved, and other organizations to come in with assistance or even military assistance as well.
Yeah, those are some very good points, Dusty. Thank you. Note important relationship considerations, the parents' relationship with each other, the parents and the children with each other, the extended family. What I didn't list that just came to mind is their relationship with the aid providers, the ones that are delivering the aid, with the medical, when their son was in the hospital, their relationship with the medical facility would be important also.
Yeah, that is good.
Recommended coping strategies. My first one was recognize their feelings and allow them to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then calming techniques like deep breathing, looking up.
Meditation.
Meditation for sure. I always forget that one. I would be hugging my kids. You know, I hug my kids a lot now. It'd be like every hour. And to continue to acknowledge any and all the positives they could find.
Yeah.
So yeah, meditation. I always forget that.
You know, I think they're also in a unique situation that there's multiple families. He talks about there's multiple families that are dealing with the exact same tragedies. And so really being able to reach out as a community and serving each other is definitely a coping opportunity that they have.
Definitely. And then
they talk about keeping memories alive. So I remember like when we studied Pakistan and that class where they would sit around and they would tell stories. And even though there's this war going on, as they tried to find things that were normal and brought them joy, it kind of reminds me of the women that they talk about in the Holocaust, where they would gather and they would talk about stories that would give them hope.
Definitely. Anything that would be, you know, giving hope would be vital to continue practicing. Additional resources that you may provide or suggest: grief counseling, family counseling, and I would advocate to find some way to serve in their community.
Yeah, I put the community could kind of help each other. Those that were without could help trade goods instead of using money. Like, hey, if you do this for me, then I'll give you this. Or
I liked that one.
Because money's tight.
Mm-hmm. And it can't be just for this family. It has to be a more common situation.
Yeah.
So I like that.
You know, there might even be opportunities for them to volunteer within the aid camps.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are able to do that, that would build the relationship in the aid camp, which would be under relationships to consider. That would be a support.
Yeah.
You know, I think even sometimes just to try to be as normal as possible in an abnormal situation, even if they had like family dinner together or the extended family joining together for a meal, just that ability to kind of just release and just have something that's normal, even if it's for 30 minutes or an hour, could make a world of difference for their ability to find the resilience and strength among themselves.
Definitely.
Yeah. And maybe in their family councils, create like you know how we have like a exit plan for fire? They could come up with a strategy plan for, hey, if this starts happening, this is where we'll meet. You know?
I like that.
Like something like that.
That's a good idea.
Just something, I don't know, this is just a thought that I had about going back to like the risks and dangers, is that we also have this child, Amid, who's been named after his brother. And I thought just what a weight that must be to carry that dead brother's name in this, almost like becomes this living memorial. And I wonder how much stress would be added to him. Trying to live out his life for his brother and his family in this healing process.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Is there anything else we want to add?
I'm good.
I'm good
Do
too.
you see anything that you want more information on or input?
Well, I've got a lot. I don't know that I captured everything, so I'm going to send it out as a Google Doc in just a few minutes, and anything, and it's a little rough because a lot of it I'm cutting from other people, so like the formatting's not the same and stuff. And I just chose one that I could add bullet points on, so I think it's Alicia's, and I just started copying in onto hers, so I hope you don't mind that, Alicia.
No, okay.
And that way, if you want to add anything, you can add it. And then if not, just say, you know, it's good. And once everyone says it's good, I'm going to just turn that in.
Okay.
Sounds
So
good.
last time Sister Cummings said that our link didn't work, so she wasn't able to view. So I guess just making sure that our link works before we
Okay,
send
I'll
it to
test
her.
it out I'll test it out.
Okay.
And are you going to send me a copy of the link to turn in with the final
Yeah, I'll
paper?
send everyone
Okay.
a copy of the link.
Awesome.
Okay.
So yeah.
I probably won't look at it until tomorrow morning, just so you know. Don't wait for a response from me tonight. If that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably fine.
So maybe by tomorrow, like noon Mountain Standard Time, if someone hasn't responded by then, we're all saying it's okay, ready to turn in, or does that sound like a good
Yeah,
cutoff?
that sounds great.
Okay.
Noon is
Just
the cutoff tomorrow.
Okay.
Look at it before conference tomorrow, and just throwing it out there. Don't forget, there's a solemn assembly tomorrow. I don't know if it's the morning session or the afternoon session.
What?
Typically,
Yeah, what
there's
is
a,
Assembly.
that
So-
is where we train our new prophets.
And it's by
Um,
quorums, and so like all the high priest will stand, all of the elders will stand, and so the solemn assembly is that each individual unit stands in united solidarity and being able to sustain the prophet. And so it's done when a brand
When
new
is
prophet
that?
is called.
Oh, wow.
When is that? Is that before the second session?
it'll be in one of the sessions. I read two links. One said morning, and the other said when they usually do the sustainings, and that's the Saturday afternoon session. So,
Sounds good.
just it's